The Environmental Protection Agency paid for this photograph. Nothing in it is wrong. It paid for 191 more. All of them made within one city block of downtown Cincinnati between May and September of 1973. Why an agency built to photograph pollution spent 5 months on people eating lunch. What the same photographer went up a hill and photographed in September. The project was called DOCUMERICA. In January of 1972, its director, Gifford Hampshire, sent every photographer this memorandum. It opens by quoting a biologist. The first law of ecology, as stated by Barry Commoner. Everything is connected to everything else. Then he warned them the work would be dull. Construction of a new municipal sewage treatment plant, he wrote, is hardly an exciting picture possibility. Yet such pictures must be taken. And he told them what the file was for. To honestly document the environmental happenings and non-happenings of this decade. Every regional office had its own set of problems, and in the memorandum's own quotation marks, its own planned accomplishments. And on page 2, the sentence that explains everything. The principal guideline is a 1972 baseline of the environmental problems and accomplishments in the area assigned to you. And then a second permission. You are free to add environmental subjects outside the agency's own charter. Problems and accomplishments. The surviving list of assignments runs from number 23 to number 150, and this is the entry for one of them. Fiche numbers 179 through 182. Tom Hubbard. Assignment 81, Cincinnati, Ohio. The description of the work is one sentence long. Variety of activities in Fountain Square showing how the man-made environment contributes to urban life, not damages. Contributes. Then the shot list. Lunch hour scenes. Conversation. Sun worshippers. Light poles. Couples. Guitar player. Chess game, sleeper. Pigeons, bicyclists, escalator. The bronze fountain at the center of it was 102 years old. Hubbard was born in 1931, and he had 5 months. Carew Tower, built in the 1930s, reflected in the glass of a tower built in the 60s. The caption notes that the two of them stand opposite each other. His first role is dated May. He began with an argument. A delivery man stops his hand truck to read the signs of a picket line. 40 feet behind the pickets. The thing they were picketing. A birthday celebration for the State of Israel at noon in the middle of the square. A man working the same crowd with Hare Krishna literature. Saturday afternoon on the town. A talk in the sun. On a weekday at noon, the square filled with people who had 45 minutes and nowhere in particular to be. A school class takes a lunch break in a row along the wall. Construction workers on their lunch hour still wearing the hats. Lunching in a shaded spot. And this one. The caption is unusually precise about where these people are sitting. On top of the air shaft of the underground garage. Hold on to that. It comes back at the end. A youngster looking down from the overhead walkway. Light stanchions in afternoon sun. There is no person in this photograph at all. It is a picture of municipal light fixtures and their shadows, and the federal government kept it. A Catholic high school turned 50 that spring and sent its band downtown to play at noon. In June, a flower vendor makes a sale. The public library sold donated books off folding tables, and men in suits stopped on the way to somewhere and read the covers. Another caption in the same assignment counts 3 marble chess tables in the square and calls them permanent fixtures. Somebody had decided that a downtown needed chess tables. Strolling among pigeons. Then it rained and Hubbard stayed. Rain on granite paving block. That is the whole caption. Photographing the Tyler Davidson Fountain on a raining night. Somebody else had come out in the wet to take the same picture. And the fountain lit from below with people sitting all the way around it in the dark. A man listening to a transistor radio. Music at Fountain Square finds responsive audience. The caption says it flatly, the way a government caption says things. July. Pop and popcorn go down well at a 4th of July concert. Young hikers on a trek across the country stopped to take pictures. They had walked into the middle of a city and found it worth photographing. And on a bank roof above the square, a dance company from New York rehearsing. They are using the safety rail as a dance bar. The director was Marilyn Woods. In August, she brought them down into the square itself. August brought a month-long arts festival. The city spelled its name with an apostrophe, and the government caption spells out the joke for anyone who missed it. It is pronounced dog. A boy writes on a wall especially provided for graffiti. Somebody had put up a wall for children to write on, and then a federal photographer recorded it. A dancer leads the banner parade with a conga drum. The New York company and a Cincinnati company converge in the middle. A man from the Cincinnati Recreation Department plays bongo drums. The caption adds that the drums are available to all comers. A sculpture by Ruth Coran. A pipe framework with a pile of junk beside it, to be added to by anyone, anytime, anyway. This man is adding his bit. Another one was wire hoops covered in gauze, tied to balloons. It sailed over the buildings around the square and was soon lost to sight. An inflatable sculpture by Jonathan Ahern. Stephen Sharp, a mime clown described in the caption as a favorite of the children. A dancer greets Rosie, a street flower vendor. The federal caption knows her first name. And a girl preacher, the caption says. An unscheduled event. At night they hung a scrim and put colored lights on it and danced behind it. The crowds watched from the paving stones under spotlights. 2 works at once. The blade is a sculpture by Oliver Andrews called Sky Blades. Behind it, Gary Reefshall is making a light arrow by having selected room lights turned on in Carew Tower, and a man working late in the tower opposite looking down at the crowd gathering below him. Not all of it was art. A cow milking contest advertised the opening of the Carthage Fair. The contestants were local newspaper, radio, and television people. An old man holding balloons on Women's Suffrage Day. A woman in a witch costume with a hand-lettered sign. Fly me. And the city introduced its buses. Cincinnati had bought the privately owned transit system, renamed it Metro, and put new paint on the fleet. And the first place it showed them was here, at noon. In September, the symphony came down for a week of noon concerts. Erich Kunzel conducting at lunchtime outdoors for free. A woman campaigning for a city council candidate finds the beat of the music irresistible. From above, the orchestra is the small green tarp. 5th Street along the bottom. Vine Street to the left. And in the upper corner, the entrance ramp to the underground garage. The same orchestra played its annual concert at Riverfront Stadium that month. The caption puts the crowd at some 25,000 people. That is most of the assignment. Here is the rest of the shot list. In in the same run-on sentence without a paragraph break. There it is. Old residential neighborhood. 3 words with no comma after them run together with a parking lot into a single item on the list. The neighborhood is over the Rhine, north of the business district. Rehabilitated is the word on the government caption. It is not a word that says who was living there first. An apartment building in the same neighborhood. And these children, hanging out of a car window. The caption records what they wanted. They want the photographer to take just one more picture. Project knew how to photograph the other thing. 2 assignments later on the same page, there is Kenneth Pake in Kansas City. Documentation of a small area on the west side of the city called Mulkey Square, where lower-income residents are being displaced. That was a whole assignment. In Cincinnati, it was 3 words and no comma. The shot list has more in it. Downtown parking lot. Underground garage. This is it. From the inside. The plaza with the chess tables and the marble sitting walls and the symphony under the green tarp is the roof of this. Looking north along Vine Street from the walkway the boy was leaning over in May. Downtown from the air. The square in the foreground, Interstate 71 at the back. And then in September, Hubbard went up Mount Adams, a residential hill east of downtown with a church at the top of it. He photographed it twice. The second caption has 1 more word in it. Smog over Mount Adams. The next 2 frames are indoors at the agency's own National Environmental Research Center in Cincinnati. An engine on a stand. Ford in blue with a honeycomb catalytic converter. And the Chevrolet in red with a pelletized one. 2 designs for the same part, going onto cars the following year. And then the last frame in the assignment. The highest number Hubbard filed for assignment 81 is the square at night, at the end of September, full of people celebrating a baseball game. The Ohio River, with downtown in the distance. The right bank, the caption says, is northern Kentucky. The bridge in this one, the caption points out, was designed and built by Roebling before he built the Brooklyn Bridge. Hampshire had told them at the start. Everything is connected to everything else. 192 frames of a place where nothing was wrong. The square worked. The air did not. And the neighborhood north of it got 3 words. The paper that would say who chose them sits at College Park in a series the archives has never digitized. Anyone is allowed to order it.